Hi, this is Onita Dougherty. I'm coming to you from Happy Earth Market Podcast. No race wars at all. We was just trying to get the education together. But those who had to work in the fields, my mother picked cotton. My grandmother picked cotton. Now all this old meth, those are slavery drugs. That methamphetamine and that crack, those are slave drugs. Not only that, we had the free love. I was a Black Panther. I was marching around the courthouse, getting Huey P Newton out of jail. They let his ass out too.
No, this edition of Happy Earth Market Podcast is brought to you by Happy Earth Market. It's brought to you by Love Through Living. It's brought to you by Natural Awakenings. And it's brought to you by Guerrilla Culture Clothing for your streetwear revolutionary needs.
Gotta love those guys. They're amazing. Amazing. Hi, everybody. This is Happy Earth Market Podcast. I'm Sam.
No, I'm Nathan.
And today our guest is...
Onita.
Onita, what's your full name?
Onita Dougherty.
Onita with an O, not A.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so it's not Anita.
Nope, it's O.
Onita.
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 Oh, what happened? Oh, are you there?
So Onita's on this show because we met Onita during Happy Earth Market's Black History Month documentary presentation that we did on Black Panthers.
Black Panthers. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there for sure. But that's where we met Onita. And besides falling in love with her activism background, fell in love with her
awesome personality.
I was going to say pies.
Oh, yeah, that too.
But yeah, her personality's all right too. No, I love Onita. She's an inspiration. She's a great lady, and I think everybody should totally know who this woman is, because holy shit, she lives here. Right under our noses in our backyard. Yeah, and she's working it, and she's a doer. She's not a talker, and she's a talker, but she's a doer on top of talking, and that's important to have, and she's still doing it. So this is the Generations episode.
So
we're honored to have you, Onita.
Thank you.
Where were you born?
San Francisco, California.
What year? What time frame?
1946.
And you stayed in the Bay Area as a kid?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we're pretty much in the Bay Area, in the San Jose area, pretty much all around, but mostly the Bay Area.
Mostly the Bay.
Yeah.
What was the Bay like back then?
It was marvelous. It was marvelous. I mean, it was weird. They didn't like you to of course, date white boys.
Well, let's before we get into that, because that's like we skipped a whole part of your chapter.
Yeah, we skipped your whole childhood.
Hurry up.
Childhood. So all right, where'd you live? Was it a house, apartment?
We lived in an apartment. At first, understand I have 9 brothers and 4 sisters.
Whoa.
So an apartment in San Francisco had to be a floor.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a whole floor. In one of the old San Francisco houses that's cost millions and millions of dollars. Sure. Then they just cost none. It belonged to us. It belonged to black people, because the Fillmore area where we lived in San Francisco was a black area.
Okay.
It's not still, or is it?
Well, no, not with all the fine houses and everything. They're $1 billion houses. No,
right.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Because of course they pay different taxes, and everything changes. And of course it was different there. If you lived in a good community, your tax money went to your schools. Right. If you lived in a raggedy community, your tax money went to the schools.
What you pay for.
That's right. Pretty much. I mean, there was no. What do I want to say? There was just no openness and no freedom like we have now.
Oh, okay. So 9 brothers and sisters. How many brothers? How many sisters?
9 brothers, 4 sisters.
9 brothers, 4 sisters, 13 of you guys total.
Yes.
Holy crap.
Oh, I misunderstood that. I thought it was 9. Okay, so how many bedrooms did this floor have?
Oh, I don't, maybe 3, 4.
3 or 4 bedrooms. Okay, that's a lot of people living under the same roof.
Yeah.
What's the oldest to youngest ratio? of these people?
My oldest sister, Marie, was married, and she had her own kids. Well, almost. We shouldn't quite had her own kids, but she was married. Marie is what? She's passed away now. Mm-hmm. Marie oh boy! Now you asked me a difficult question. This is not an easy answer.
Where were you at?
Yeah, were you in the middle or?
See, Marie, Vaughn, Ronald, Donald, me. I was the fifth. Mm. I was the fifth in the row.
You were number 5.
Yes.
Holy moly! So you're one of the old ones.
Yes.
Are one of the old ones.
Yeah, you're in the top tier.
yeah, about that. Yeah.
And were both your parents together, or?
Well, for a minute, and then one went into the service, mm-hmm. and the other one stayed home and did the usual.
The service? What branch? What service?
Air Force.
Air Force. What time frame? Like what? World War or
World War
Korea?
II.
World War II.
Yeah.
Wow. And what do you do in the service?
My father was he worked in the motor pool.
Okay.
I used to go on the buses with him and go take the recruits to the different bases and all the different places.
You remember that with him?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
Neat memory.
Yeah.
So having a military dad gives you a little bit different perspective of military.
Well, yeah, in the sense that they take care of us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They take care of us overseas, and we have to respect them because they make sure our freedoms stay in place.
So, and your mom was home raising...
Homemaker.
A whole bunch of kids by herself.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of kids by herself. Did she have friends, neighbors, family members, sisters and stuff that came and helped raise the tribe?
No, she did the raising of the tribe.
Wow.
You had one head chief, and it was Mama.
Right.
It wasn't no whole bunch of mamas. It was only one Mama.
Right.
And she said what went, and nobody changed it because she was the head one.
Did you guys have a lot of parties and gatherings?
Well, we had a lot of, nice holidays and where we got together and cooked and during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and, mm-hmm. And Easter and, mm-hmm. And those kinds of things. Like all families, we just got together and just had a good old time and just loved each other like we just did recently, but we had a little death in the family, so it wasn't as exciting.
It's funny how people are getting together for those reasons these days now instead of for happy, just let's get togetherness reasons.
Well, there's not a lot of let's get together happiness reasons.
Sure there is. Right now.
Yeah, well, but when there's a death in your family, it gets sort of slow.
It forces the issue.
Yeah, everything kind of moves really, really slow. But, still a celebration because I have a niece who is graduating from UNLV.
Awesome.
And she's going, and the justice. Oh boy, I just messed that up. She's going to really kill me. She's in the criminal justice system, but she's going to be a lawyer.
Very cool. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to go to her graduation, and I told her be happy.
Yeah.
Because that's a great accomplishment.
Being happy?
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So, do you have kids? You have a niece.
Yes, I have a niece and I have a son.
You have a son?
Yes.
Just one child?
Yes.
How old's he?
How old is Tony? 44?
Ooh.
Yeah,
cool.
44.
Cool. How's that being a mom? Do you like it?
At first I didn't, but then afterwards I did. Once I understood it. Being a mom is, you don't automatically get the tools to raise kids.
Right.
There is no quick and easy tool because every one of us was different.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so it left her with having to find a way to learn how to deal with all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just dealt with us like a sergeant. Just told us what the hell to do and get up and do it.
Probably the easiest way.
Probably the easiest way to control you, yeah.
No psychological training at all.
So did you go to high school in the Bay Area?
Yes, I did.
Nice. What school?
Polytech.
Polytech.
Yeah, before it closed down. Polytech was my place by Golden Gate Park. That's where it's located.
Yeah, I love Golden Gate Park.
So Polytech, was that let's see, when you graduated, it would have been in the 50s, early 60s?
64.
64. So early 64, what was the school like? Was it mostly white people? What kind of racial issues did you run into in high school, personally?
Like everybody, you get picked on if your clothes ain't together.
Right.
You get picked on if your hair ain't together. You like today. I mean,
but it was San Francisco, so was it a little bit
were the schools integrated?
Not as racism happening there as other parts of the country, and probably clearly other parts of the country, because some of them are really going through some stuff. But
I'm gonna say San Francisco, we wasn't having no race wars at all. We was just trying to get the education together and make sure, you got your classes and you were ready to go to college or go to work, because then you could go to work, where the kids graduating now, they can hardly find a job.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Where if you went to college, I mean, it was a given. You had a job.
Yep.
But now it's not even a given. So it was quite different. I had a lot of white friends. I had a lot of black friends, In fact, I don't know where my yearbook is. I got all kinds of, how people, they leave their signature and like you're going to remember them. Oh, yeah, that's Lucy. I know how she looked. I couldn't remember not one of them.
Well, so did you go to college then?
No.
You did not?
No.
So what did you do after school then?
Went to work.
Where at?
Where did I go to work at? Oh, boy. Now, that's a good question.
Uh-oh. Stumped her on that one.
Yeah.
That's usually a hard one.
What type of work was it? Like, what were you trying to do? Just make some money?
I don't know. Way back then, boy, you asking me some hard questions, really. I think it was the object is to make some money.
Yeah.
I think at the time I didn't work for Bart. I helped a couple other people. You know what I used to do? I used to be a job planner for people. I used to help people get jobs.
Okay.
And so I worked at companies like Got You a Job.
Mm-hmm.
For $19.99.
Oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
Like
they
you
sold
pay
you
$20.
Jobs.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they sold you jobs. If you have $2,500, you could come in and get a job and work it and pay off your $2,500.
Oh wow, I never heard of that.
Get an old San Francisco paper, and I believe in some of the articles you'll see wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And those wanted ads were ads where a lot of them where you would go in and pay agencies for different jobs. You never heard of that?
No, I've never heard of that. I've heard of temp agencies where they take part of your pay as a temp worker, but I've never heard of pay to work.
Paying to work.
Yeah, I've heard pay to play musicians.
Sounds like a really great slave scam.
It was. Because everybody went for it.
No, totally. Well, if they guarantee you a job.
And sometimes it worked out great because the people liked you, and they dumped the agency and kept you.
So what year did you graduate high school?
Right?
When did I graduate high school? 65.
So you graduated in 65, but San Francisco is the Bay Area is going crazy with everybody moving there with the free love movement and all the movements.
Not only that, we had the free love. I was a Black Panther. I was marching around the courthouse, getting Huey P Newton out of jail. They let his ass out too.
Let's rewind. So what?
Wait, Black Panther.
What motivated you to do something? Why did you want to get into the movement?
What happened? Yeah.
Well, if you can see at all, and if you can see your government take time to build a park in a school that's maybe 50 miles from you, and the school that you go to doesn't even have a park, doesn't even have a playground.
Right, it's just a building.
So you begin to recognize that there's some unfairness going on in the society.
Sure.
And it's time to speak up. It's time to do something. And the only thing at that time was moving in the right direction was the Black Panther movement.
So you joined the Black Panther Party, and so what's a typical day like of activism? What are you guys doing?
Well, see, I was a sneak member.
What's that mean?
That sounds bad.
That sounds awesome.
That means I was an out of the box member. I mean, I was hiding.
Mm-hmm.
That means I would talk to certain people if they needed certain things like clothes or housing or furnishing or things like that. They would call me, but I was not walking around in the street because
saying that you're a Black Panther. You weren't marching with them or anything.
No.
You were more working in the shadows.
Yes, because
like
number one, my mother would have come down there and beat the shit out of me for embarrassing her by being down there.
Sure.
Why?
If she's seen me on the news, because then it was embarrassing. My brothers, I won't speak their names, but they were Black Panthers, and when I came home, my mother had beat the shit out of them and told them to take that stuff off.
Why? Though, I mean, did she not understand the...
My mother was from Midnight, Mississippi. You do the math.
Right. So so stepping out of line in that aspect, probably a lot of fear
Scared
that her boys
were going to get hurt.
Were going to get killed, lynched, hurt.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, anything.
Yeah, for real. I mean, so she wasn't having it. She said, I didn't take all this time to feed you and raise you for somebody to just come along and just kill you.
Sure.
No, you're not going to have that here. You're going to take that out there and then do whatever you want to from there.
She had empathy, though, I'm sure, for the cause. Your guys' heart was in the right place.
Well, our heart was in the right place, but, sometimes it's like knowing how to sing. You just don't. Some people just start singing and they got beautiful voices.
Sure. And
some people like me might start singing and you might want to turn off the machine. So then some Black people had freedom in the South, but they were with their own kind. But those who had to work in the fields, my mother picked cotton. My grandmother picked cotton. You ever picked any cotton?
No, ma'am.
No. Oranges.
I tried it once. Never do it again. Stuck me in my nail. I don't think I ever got rid of that infection.
Wow.
It was...
It's hard work. And they're sharp.
And you got to dump the 100-pound bag. Oh, no.
And you're dehydrated and sunburned and it goes on and on.
Yeah. So you going to... So my mother was extremely conservative. That's what you would call her. Extremely conservative. And she wanted the best for us.
Right.
Yeah. And she thought maybe that movement was agitating rather than helping.
That's right.
Sure.
Because she was scared of the perspective reality that she lived. I understand that totally.
So a typical day for you with the party, what would you do?
Basically, I had a call in the morning. I had a call in the morning, and I usually got my call in the morning if they needed anything.
Okay.
And by the afternoon, I would get the people together to bring it over to the address or the place they were staying, so that they could have some cover and couches and blankets and things like that, so they could have some place to lay and kind of stay while they were doing their thing. But I wasn't into the marching. I'm not going to even lie. I knew the people and I knew what was going on, but that wasn't my thing. That wasn't part of my role.
That's not your story. But
no,
a movement needs all the pieces.
All the pieces.
So somebody who's shuttling people around and getting people food in the morning or taking them blankets in the evening, like that sounds just as vital to me as the guys on the front line.
Yeah, to me I was.
Yeah.
That's why when you ask me if I'm part of the Black Panthers, I say yes.
Yeah.
Because I was. But I was not walking in the streets and I wasn't shouting and yelling. The only time I actually protest is when we were trying to get Huey P Newton out of the jail in Oakland, California.
Who was that?
Huey P Newton was one of the heads of the Black Panther Party.
Okay.
Bobby Seals was one, and Huey P Newton was the other person.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot. I didn't forget that.
Good job. Good job. See?
And so we needed to get him out.
Why was he locked up?
Bobby, because number one, I believe it was because he had a weapon or something, and it was and so then we start marching because carrying a weapon was you could do it if you did it openly.
Sure.
As long as you're a United States citizen.
Yeah, as long as you're white.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's
that too.
Back then, as long as you're white.
Yeah.
Well, here,
real white.
Still,
even now.
It was a joke. I didn't want to go. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I say, okay, wasn't a joke to them because they were sitting on the sidelines. No, I didn't mess around with that because, see, number one, I had too big of a mouth, and number two, I was too violent. So I wasn't good in that situation.
Right.
And I knew I wasn't good in that situation. So why involve yourself in a part of the movement where you're not going to be effective?
You're not going to be effective. Yeah, exactly.
That's a waste of people's time.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wish more people felt that way. Like everybody has their place in helping this whole thing we're all trying to do, but then everybody wants the big part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
they want to be at the top.
They want to be at the top. And, but then most people ain't ready to do top shit either.
Yeah,
no,
right.
You know
but they don't know it. They don't know it, though.
No,
see, they don't know what it is at the top.
No.
They really don't. And they think it's going to be easy and fun, no criticism, nobody's going to bother them. They're going to be able to boss people around.
It doesn't work that way. No. First of all, the best leader is the best follower.
That's right.
Second of all, like when you're at the top, you're always wrong.
That's right.
If everybody's coming to you all day long to tell that, like, hey, I really didn't like the way you flushed that toilet today. Yeah. So if you want that, if you want constant criticism, then you go ahead and be in charge.
That's right. Absolutely.
Because that's anything. Because, I've never been involved with something as historic as you're talking about, but I've done a lot of work where I was in charge of large things. And, there's no right move.
Yeah. There is no such thing. And all you got to do, though, is make sure you're doing just a little bit. Mm-hmm. If it's 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day.
Exactly.
Just so you're doing a little bit for your community. Mm-hmm. And it don't have to be being in the Black Panthers. It could be being in some sort of organization for children. It can be for being a volunteer for people in the hospital. Yeah. It can be all kinds of things. It can be for seniors where you go and visit them. Mm-hmm. And of course I do that all the time. I go and visit the seniors because I'm a senior myself now. I can't help it but to visit them.
There's so much to do. Yes. There's so much work to be done. And everyone just looks at that big task as, there's so much work to be done. But if we all, just like what you just said, just took a little bite.
That's all you got to do.
Yep. And we all took a little bite. If we all took a little bite, there'd be a lot less issues. Yeah. Because you don't like to call problems. What do you call them? Situations. Why is that?
Well, because there is no problems. Mm-hmm. There's no answer to a problem, is there?
No.
There's an answer to a situation.
Right.
If you're a parent, if your kid is getting into things, it's a situation. It sure ain't a problem.
Right.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, when did you feel like the I've always wondered this from somebody who was really in it, especially in the Bay Area, because when they talk about the 60s, they talk about the Bay and then they talk about a few other colleges. But the Bay was like the epicenter of everything. Yeah. And I've often wondered, did you guys feel the beginning of the end coming? Did you feel like this whole thing we've been trying to work for is starting to crumble? And was it caused from outside, inside, or both? Or what was or did it just kind of fade away and people start going to do work?
I'm gonna say something that people may or may not agree to. During the 60s, people's children of wealth got older, and they began coming to our schools. They began to share with us different information. And with sharing that information, they gave us a sense of freedom. How do you think the Black Panthers stayed up?
Oh.
Do you think that the black community took care of the Black Panthers?
When you say it that way, no.
The white community took care of the Black Panthers because the white community didn't want the black men messing with their daughters. Like Newton and like all the other folks. Yeah. They didn't like that.
So when you mean take care of, like financially?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. That's what.
Just a show.
Funding.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yes. It gave them money. Gave us money to. Who do you think paid the rent for the places they stayed?
So speaking of biracialism.
You mean racism? Okay, go ahead.
No, biracial couples actually. What's your opinion back then? What was your opinion of it, and what's your opinion on it now? Has it changed? Back then, when it was first. being
biracial.
Mm-hmm.
My family's biracial. When you go to our Christmas party, you'll find Filipinos, you'll find whites, you'll find, of course, blacks. In fact, you might find more white folks than you do black folks. My sister was married to a white man. My niece that is graduating, her father just passed. He's a white boy, and that's what I call him. I call him the white boy.
So, okay,
and
well,
these
relationships, these relationships that you're speaking of right now weren't around back in the 60s when we're talking about. So how, I'm asking, when you were first seeing it in reality around you and your family, friend circles, what was your feelings on it? Now it's clear you don't have any issue with it. That's cool, but did you have any kind of issues with it then, or?
Not really, because it was part of the family. You know, it wasn't the individuals that were the issue. It was the government that was the issue, because it wasn't being fair. You know, it wasn't being fair because we know that who was over the FBI then? What's his name? Hoover. We know Hoover didn't like black folks, but he was gay. And he tried everything.
He was gay? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Hoover was gay. Well, actually, Hoover said, like, the tiny organization that was, the Black Panthers, were the #1 threat to the United States.
That's right.
Yeah. How beautiful. I mean, you guys never had a large, like, honestly, it was a great movement and a historical movement, but it didn't have the numbers that they make it out to be.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And
Well, we did, but they were hidden.
Yeah.
There were people up at other places that
the infiltrators.
I don't know, what do you call them?
No. She's saying that they had members that were in high places.
That's what I mean, the infiltrators.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
infiltrating
yeah,
the system,
the people's parents and stuff that was making sure we had money, you know, to go buy a refrigerator and a stove and put it in the apartment, you know, so
I was amazed at watching some of the stuff, the amount of literature you guys are able to put out.
Oh, yes.
And I know how much literature costs, and it wasn't free back then either.
Who you think paid for it, baby? It sure wasn't the black community. We didn't have that kind of money.
That
we just were getting checks from the welfare.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that was just starting.
Yeah, just was getting checks from the welfare, because before then they didn't want to give us nothing.
Nothing at all.
Do you think that since you bring up welfare, has that been a hindrance or a help to all community, not just the black community, all poor communities?
Hindrance.
Yeah, why is that?
Because you make people helpless.
Exactly. Yeah.
You make people ask and cry for things that should be a right to work. You should have a right to work.
Yeah.
You know, you should not have to ask and beg and get money because you're this, that, or the other.
Right.
I think what it does is take down the integrity and the morality of the culture. When you receive that kind of money, now nobody don't care.
Right.
It's no big deal. But then it meant everything, because my mama worked 2 jobs. My mama worked in white folks' houses and cleaned their houses, cleaned their toilets, raised their kids, and I was sitting at home raising my mothers.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that we didn't.
And that still happens today. There's families all over the place that's happening today.
Yeah, and that's
don't change in that way.
That's the slavery. That's the slavery part of it. I want to say, when you have to go into somebody's house and clean their house, and your own kids are going without the same things that you're giving somebody else's because they can afford it.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
So, and then you have to remember, during that time, computers came along.
Okay.
Hello. Okay. Gates was running around. What's the guy? Timothy Leary. He was running around with acid that the CIA and the FBI was trying out on people and black men.
Did you partake?
Of course.
Clearly she did. You could tell by her face.
Of course. You know, the funniest thing, you know, you asked me that, and I can go back to a time where I was on a LSD high, and we had just left Timothy Leary's house in a bus or a car or something. I don't even quite remember. But one thing that stuff did, it made you understand reality.
Yeah, man.
Man, you understood what was going on. Now all this old meth, those are slavery drugs. Methamphetamine and that crack, those are slave drugs. Those are drugs you run after.
Yeah.
Okay? But you don't run after LSD.
No,
because it opens your brain.
It comes to you.
Yeah, it opens your brain. I don't care what nobody says.
No, you're 100%.
During that time, we had that between the LSD and the love movement, we was having sex and making war. Seriously, on one side. Oh yeah, did you do that? Yeah, did you do that? Yeah, yep. Where's Bob? Okay. Bob and Sue are gone.
Was there a real sense like that we're going to do this? We're actually going to change the world this time?
No.
You felt like
what it was a sense, it was a movement that made all people aware of what the government was doing to us by putting us in a slate. And guess you could say, oh, what were they doing? They were putting us in a slate. And they kept us. It's like starting your kid in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
Just if you have time. I don't know if you have time.
Go ahead.
But take time and go to a really good school in this area and see what they do for kindergartners. Then take your time and go over to North Las Vegas and see what they do for kindergartners.
Yeah.
And look at the two different programs. I won't say they have some quality, but not the quality they're supposed to have at this time.
It's certainly
like a
not
tablet,
equal.
like a tablet to work on, a computer tablet, like a computer period. So you can make the kids more aware. You make the kids feel part of. Have you ever sit in, one time I never forget, I don't know her name is Miss Gabby. What was her name? We were in a classroom, and it was time for us to read our new books. And the white kids in the class, she handed all the new books to. The used books, she handed all to the black kids. Have you ever opened up a book and smelled it when it's new?
Yeah.
How much different is it when it's old? Well, when most people don't get an opportunity to get a new book and open it up and read it, and it's all theirs, they can write in it, they can mark in it, they can do anything they want to do in it. Then when you're black, don't mark in the books, don't put that, don't do this, don't do that. So what do you do with the book? Right? You toss it. Say, that ain't for me, that's for white kids. Especially then.
Sure, that makes sense.
Huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
So those of us who've never had a new book, make sure your kid gets a new book so when he opens it up or she opens it up, they can smell it and see that this is mine.
You're making me cry, Anita.
That's
Stop
cool, huh? No, you're not.
Let's get to a different subject. I don't want to.
Well, yeah,
you're making me cry. I don't like to hear that.
I kind of want to talk about the end of that era a little bit. And do you remember where you were when JFK was shot, or do you want to talk?
I was on the 4th floor of Polytech, going into civics.
And was.
What about MLK?
What about MLK? What about Martin Luther King?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Not right this minute. But I will before this day is out. Now, God darn it, put that on my mind. That kind of
shocks me, because you being a black woman, I would think as a black person you would know that one before you would rattle off JFK.
What can I tell you?
Well, no,
just telling you the truth.
Just
being human.
Kind of leads me to the next thing, because I know that, when we had you here for the documentary night and there was other black folks in the audience, and the way they were expressing their kind of like, how dare you be that way kind of attitude, and it was kind of funny to me, because you are not so, I don't know what the right word, but that's an example, not knowing where you were when Martin Luther died. It's just. And
maybe sometimes you just don't want to say. Maybe sometimes it's none of nobody's business, and maybe it was none of their business. But see, the difference was in the young man and the lady, they read out of a book. I was there.
That's what I'm saying.
I was there. I walked around the courthouse.
Point. Like, so do you run into those kind of conflicts a lot with other black people?
Yeah,
because
but I don't have to know when Martin Luther King died.
Right.
You know it.
My point is how do you cope? How do you cope with people, with the bullies? How do you cope with bullies that say you're not being the right kind of black person? Because I know you did. I saw it.
Oh, you don't want me to say that now.
I do. I want to hear it. Because it's important for everybody to hear. It's a perspective because we have bullies everywhere and they come in all shapes and sizes.
Well, see, I think bullying, I'm going to say this, and he has nothing to do with this conversation. Absolutely nothing. I will say that the biggest bully I've ever met was Trump. But I've never seen anybody push so many people around. But what the young man didn't understand that I was trying to communicate to him, it was not he said he had an uncle in the Black Panthers and a cousin in the Black Panthers, and the lady who was there with him also verified this. Well, I had somebody there with me too, but they're past, they're gone. Mm-hmm. Basically, I don't have to agree with you regarding being black. I don't have to verify anything to you.
Right.
Because when I stand and I speak and I'm there, I tell no lies.
That's your truth.
None.
Right.
None.
See, you're saying you just have to be confident in your truth.
Yes. Plain and simple.
To cope with bullies, you just be confident
and I will not
truth.
Be bullied.
I know you don't.
I will fight, but I will not be bullied.
You're so inspiring
Period.
that way. I love her.
Period. By nobody, white or black.
So why don't you tell everybody you were run over by a car recently? Tell them the story about that. She walks around with a cane, and I'm just thinking it's because she's old. No, it's because she was run over.
Yeah.
Tell the story.
Oh, man, that's a stupid thing that happened to me. I got this one leg or gimp leg or whatever you want to call it, and I'm going across the street. Wait. Get it together, Onita. Get it together. Oh, that's what happened. No, really, seriously. I was just, getting ready to go to work, and then I had to go to physical therapy, and I said, well, I don't want to go to physical therapy, and I don't want to go to work, but I got to go to physical therapy. So I finally end up going to physical therapy, crossing the street. Well, crossing the street was the first part of it. Crossing the street was the end of it. Crossing the street was I got hit and I got drugged 14 feet on a pickup truck with big old wheels.
14 feet.
Unbelievable.
And somebody said, well, just keep on kicking. So I just kept on kicking. I stayed, I was brought to UMC, marvelous hospital. Marvelous. Trauma, marvelous. And I thought that I was in Hawaii. Seriously. Everybody laughs. What
kind of drugs did they put you on?
Yeah, give me some of that. Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, maybe they have LSD now in
yeah, in trauma, huh?
Yeah, trauma.
That's how you get over trauma, huh? Like, give me some LSD.
That's true.
But no, I thought I was in Hawaii. I thought I was in Hawaii, and I thought the people working on me had black hair, and they said only one person had black hair, and I was not in Hawaii. Okay? And so God said, you got more work to do. So guess what? Now I'm talking to you, and I'm hungry.
That sounds like a really scary experience.
It was.
Is that the scariest experience of your life? What's the scariest thing you've ever gone through?
Yes.
That was it.
Yes. Yeah. Disabling. It makes you dependent. I hate it. I hate being dependent.
It's hard, especially being independent as you've been your whole life.
Yes.
So being Black Panthers was just one activism thing you've been involved in. Let's go through the list. What was next?
I worked with Dr. Jim Peterson of Stanford University on gay pride. Gay pride was one of my loves, and so since I was gay, that was the next best thing because wasn't. And then I work on the women's movement. What is her name? I met Shirley Moon Downey. She's a race car driver. That's what I was trying to race.
Right.
Cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I call myself.
She's a
hot
drag car racer, right?
That's right, out of Canada.
Yep.
Yeah,
Neato.
that's right, baby. That's right. She's bad too.
Yeah, she had a rival with Big Daddy Don Garlits.
Yeah, boy, he was. I can't say this on the radio.
Yeah, you can.
You can say motherfucking anything you want.
No, well, just keeping it clean. He was a son of a bitch. I mean, he treated her horrible. Every time she got a car, she got it built, she got ready to go, he would be in the way. You know how some men then was in the 60s and 70s, they hadn't quite let go of their
bravado?
Yeah, or their machoality or whatever you want to call
insecure.
it. Yeah. And she, I don't know, she got in that car, she tore his ass up.
Yeah, she did.
Probably because he knew she was going to be better than him.
Tore him up every time.
There's a really good movie about them.
Really?
Their rivalry. I think they become good friends at the end there. And then, then she died.
Yeah, because she moved to Canada. Yeah, once she left the Bay Area and was doing the track there, she moved to Canada. And when she moved to Canada, that's when I lost touch of all of that. I was in that. That was fun. Now that was fun.
So the women's movement or the gay rights movement?
All of that was fun.
Why was it fun?
Gay rights movements, the women's
costumes,
movement.
is that why?
The costumes. Is that what she said? Did she really say that?
They wear great costumes at those parades. I'm sorry, I just love them. They're so colorful and sparkly and
were you around,
I love it.
Were you around San Francisco?
That's what makes it fun, right? No.
No.
What made it fun?
Why don't you keep it serious?
I'm sorry.
Were you around San Francisco when Milk was elected?
Yes.
How was that as a black? Gay woman seeing an openly gay man be elected to office?
That was great.
I can imagine.
Because I was in the gay movement, so that was gay. But when they let the guy go up there and kill him, that was just
starting to see a reoccurring theme here in America.
Just keep watching. And that's why I told the gentlemen that were here, we already did that part you're fighting about. You need to pick another part of that and that animal and fight it, because that part you fighting now, you ain't going to win.
You ain't going to win. Well, it's funny you say that is because we've been kind of feeding that. That's because we feel the same way. And the only way that we're ever going to change this United States is with our dollar. If we spend our money on the things that we want to see change, then it just changes. We dictate the economy. That's the one power we have over them, is how we spend our money. And they kind of tipped on that today. And so if you spend your money local and you buy ethical things and spend your money ethically, and you understand that every business you deal with, if they're doing business ethically, they're not sourcing overseas and over here slave trade, then we can change the world. But that's the only way, because we have given them too much power. It's too late to take it back, and they're not going to give it back with signs in the street.
Sure not.
But we win every time we spend our dollar.
That's right. Now that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I mean, and there was a lot of that. What we called during that time the Green Movement.
Sure.
Yeah. And
what's that?
The Green Movement was the people were making people aware of their dollar and the power of their dollar and what they could buy and what they could do and how they could work together, spending their money rather than working separate.
What do you think kills all these movements that happen? Because I constantly question that. Like the Green Movement, for example, where did that end? How come they didn't keep going with that education and that awareness to people?
Because you don't know the purpose of what people have in mind when they start things. I have no idea why it didn't keep going. I know why the Black Panthers didn't keep going.
Why is that? Because
of corruption. The FBI had infiltrated us.
Yeah.
They were messing around. Come on. If I take you, mess you up, take you over here in L.A. and mess you up, take you over in New York, mess you up, take you to any of these places and mess you up. And you know what I mean by mess you up. Give you drugs.
Yeah, totally.
Give you drugs. I've just killed the movement.
Yep.
I've killed the generals in the movement. Now you can cut off their heads at the top. Who cares?
Right.
But it's the people who are walking the streets and doing the work.
Yeah. Who's
handing out the pamphlets. Ask me why haven't the Muslims movement died?
Yeah, why
Farrakhan.
Why hasn't the Nation of Islam died?
Because he stays constant. He stays constant with his message. He stays constant with the men that come in there, and he stays constant with his training.
But they had, like, back then, fully infiltrated. They said at one time Malcolm X, when he was still had more informants around him than actual entourage. So how has Farrakhan been successful in staying out of? I've always wondered that, because they killed everybody else.
I can't answer that because I don't know. I think some things, but I don't know.
So,
I wasn't part. Women weren't a part of that at all. No, you have to understand that was nothing but men. Men sit down and decided who was going to be on this corner, who was going to be on that corner.
Sure.
No women decided that. Nobody's mother was up there. Oh, well, I need you to do this, and I want you to do. Nuh-uh. No, you better go sit down someplace.
Because I've wondered that, because Farrakhan has done a good job not only staying relevant but not whitewashed also.
Well, Farrakhan is part of the system that brought down Malcolm X.
Yeah, absolutely. No, they were friends.
And he's still there.
But then they've whitewashed Jesse Jackson and a few of those other people to where their message is super diluted.
Jackson whitewashed himself by his actions when he went down and bought some soda, did something stupid. Yeah. No, he watched himself. You don't commingle. He knows that.
Yeah.
He did too many community programs to commingle the funds and have everybody all involved in the shit. He knows he's not supposed to do that kind of shit.
Right.
And he ain't dumb. He's one of the smartest men around.
He's not dumb, but he's
smart.
But he's smart in the fact that he knows about consumerism and how that works.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
All of that. So that being what do you think during all of the movements that you've been involved in, which one's the most, where you feel it's been most effective in your work personally? Like you feel the most fulfilled, like you accomplished what you wanted out of it, or you got what you wanted out of it, out of all of the activism that you've worked on?
Probably women's rights.
Women's rights.
Yeah.
Why is that?
And gay issues.
What have you worked on in women's rights specifically?
Worked at Stanford University and sitting down and getting counseling sessions for women that had a lot of issues and problems they had not spoke on as gay women. There's a lot more, but I can't tell you all of them. I've worked with the NAACP right here in Vegas and helping them get a location. I don't know. I did so many things, man. I can't tell you.
Somebody told me you work with senior citizens now.
I do work with seniors now. So I help grow. I help grow a garden. I have what you call a garden tower.
Okay.
And that garden tower grows all kinds of things, all kinds of herbs and.
Where's the tower at? Where is this thing?
My house.
It's at your house.
Yeah.
Do you live in like
backyard?
Is it like a senior place?
Well, I have one in a senior facility.
Okay.
That they are using.
Cool.
Matter of fact, and they are growing things.
Like, so do you go there and teach classes to these people, or how?
No, I just go and show them if they ask me a question or they call me.
How neat.
We just have good communication. Some of them grow zucchinis, and they make zucchini bread for me.
That's nice.
And it's just,
that's a nice perk.
We just have a really good relationship, and just making sure that the seniors know their rights and don't let people push them around. Don't let
How do you do that? Do you go and talk to them, or what? Do you host classes?
Yeah, we just go talk to them, and sometimes we go out in the garden and we go over the casinos and do our little community gambling and and just,
that's a weird thing. The old senior citizen train ride to the the bus ride to the casino to go play bingo.
Yeah, we have a ball. Sometimes we make money, sometimes we don't. But it's fun. It's something for them to do.
Yeah.
Because what a lot of people don't do, they don't visit their parents. They don't come and see them. And why and I'm going to say this, and I know you guys are going to knock me off the radio. I do not know why older white people have such a hard time with their kids coming to see them.
What do you mean?
And coming to take care of them.
The old white
Just
people.
what I said.
The old white people don't want their kids to take care of them?
Listen to me, please. Seniors. White seniors don't seem to have people who care about them to come and see about them and make sure they're all right. Let me tell you a statistic that I found out. You know why more seniors get cancer on their foot than anybody else?
Why?
Because the doctor does not look at the bottom of a senior's foot. And a woman doctor brought this to my attention. She says many doctors do not look at the bottom of seniors' feet, and that's how seniors get cancer.
Okay, that's weird.
That's real.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I guess what I'm saying is that the care of us is important too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We already made everything for you guys. Social media, name it. We already made it. Used to work for Kirk Electronics. Made communication houses for the war.
You did?
Did not know. Did not know. But finally I found out. I got fired. I found out it was too bad.
Oops.
Yes. Yeah. I used to make communication houses. And a lot of people don't know what communication houses are. I guess in Vietnam, there's vast area of jungle. And what would happen is that the army would drop these metal things. And they had little chassis that slid in and you pulled out if you had to change it. I made those.
That's cool. You made the discs?
Huh?
You made the discs that actually went into the little...
No, I made the chassis.
Okay, the chassis
that actually
that popped
went
into it.
Yes.
Cool. That's pretty neat.
And so, you know, and finding out and asking questions. Now, how would I find out about chassis, communication houses? You know where I learned about that? On Channel 10.
PBS?
PBS.
PBS.
I found out they're called chassis, and I was making communication houses.
How long have you lived in Vegas? How come?
Too long.
Yeah? Like, 'cause you lived in San Francisco.
Mostly all my life. Well, in the Bay Area, somewhere in California. But I don't like Vegas. Vegas is, number one, it's the desert. It's too hot. But like I say, I moved here because my sister got a brain tumor. And she needed somebody to come in and care for her. And, I was hoping to be that person, but she passed. So I'm still here.
Well, that's good.
In the jungle.
We're blessed to have you still here in the jungle. We need it. We need it.
Call it what you want.
So, okay. What are we at time-wise?
Well, 1 hour.
1 hour. Let's get some of these fun questions out of the way because we have fun questions. What's the most reliable vehicle you've ever owned?
Probably a Chevy Blazer.
Chevy Blazer. All right, there you go. Where is happiness found?
In the heart.
Can you give... That's kind of vague.
He asked me a question. Where is happiness found? I told you, in the heart. Well, how do you
find that? Okay. It's
how do you find it?
Yeah.
You open up. You open up, and you let people in. And sometimes, most times, it's hard to open up to let people in.
So that leads to the next question. How do you cope with demons that you have? Those that cause you suffering?
Cope with demons? What kind of demons?
Any of them.
Any demon you personally have.
You mean like a demon with drugs or something?
No, I mean like a demon within you, like a regret that you have or resentment that you have. How do you cope with those?
I just get rid of that shit. I just let that go. I can't do nothing with it. What am I going to do with it?
So that just makes it easy to forgive then? Do you forgive people pretty easily?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say so. No, they may not. I think you better ask them because they may think it's completely different.
It's true. It's perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could be friends with anyone, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
Probably my sister Yvonne. I miss her the most. And because we were good friends, we had become good friends later in our lives, and we go shopping and do things that sisters do, and just kind of hang out. So my sister Yvonne, my sister Marie, she was just a big mama. She wasn't a hangout type.
Didn't let you play. No fun. Well, a lot of no fun zones happening.
Yeah, no, she didn't have no. Wasn't going on with her.
What's the most useful technology in your life right now? The one that you find, wow, this is the best thing that got invented in my lifetime. I love this thing.
Well, I don't like the phones. I would say a laptop.
You like the laptop?
I like laptops. They're easy, they're convenient, they're mobile.
Yeah. And you know how to use the Google?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
I would say so.
What's the one thing you can't go without and why?
That's my business.
Okay. Finally, this is a hard one. Okay. This one's actually a pretty hard one because it's a serious one that we like to hear and hopefully learn from and turn it into future stuff. What's the Onita life lesson, the biggest lesson that you could teach us for existence on Earth with each other here?
You're asking me really hard questions now.
I told you it was hard.
You weren't supposed to come up with that one. Where you going there, sister? Huh? Where you going? I already told you I didn't want to answer that one. You're just going to come on fast and furious.
This is a different one.
It doesn't sound different. Doesn't feel different. I don't know. A life lesson? Just love people in your life. Take care of people in your life. Treat people with love and with care. Just I don't know, it's just I could say a whole bunch of things, but the easiest thing is love. Is love and care, and take it from there, all this other stuff and what's the best machine. We know we can make tons of digital equipment. We have. I mean, between Gates and all of the producers and out there in Menlo Park where I used to live, I mean, that was all they were doing. They in their garage, just tons and tons of equipment, and they finally made what they wanted. And that's what we have to do as a people. We have to just keep on it until we are done. And until we treat our seniors better, we're not going to have no kind of life. Because we are the past.
Right.
We are the past. And if it wasn't for us, there would be no digital, there would be no computer, there would be none of that. Because you wouldn't have any worker bees sitting down in them factories soldering all that shit together. That's right. That now you guys are taking full advantage of. That's right. And we get crap.
That's right.
Not one digital company, nobody comes to any senior facility and offers them nothing.
Well, maybe that'll change with this podcast.
Even a little training on the phones or something, but nothing.
Yeah, it's hard, especially hard for seniors to keep up on all this technology, too. It's ridiculous. I have a hard time, and I just turned 40 today, so...
Oh, it's your birthday.
I'm almost old like you guys.
Almost old. She don't know. She already touching it.
Wah, wah.
Right on.
But we love you.
Onita, it's been great talking to you. I'm glad you came on the podcast.
Me too.
Wanted to hear.
You too?
Me too.
You too. All right. He too. You too.
Needed to hear your kid's story.
Right.
I needed to find out how Miss Onita turned into.
I don't know how I turned into this. I don't have a slightest idea. Other than, boy, I've been working at it hard. Could work on it, make a little money, I'd be fine.
Well, we're working on that with those pies, right?
Yay.
You have pies somewhere. Where can we find your pies? Sweet potato pie is found at the Southwestern Grill, which is located here in Commercial Center. If you come to Happy Earth Market, we'll point you to where her pies are. They're amazing. Sweet potato pie.
Good.
And we're working on an awesome brand for you.
Okay.
What is it, Anita's?
Nita Sweets.
Nita Sweets.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Good.
She's a great hugger. Anybody want to come meet her? She's at Happy Earth Market sometimes. And, yeah.
Yep.
We love you, Onita.
Yeah, hey, I love you guys.
Thank you so much.
That's the key. You guys, you brought Berkeley into Las Vegas. Yes. I praise you for that.
It's funny. People all the time, they walk in and go, oh, it smells like Berkeley, or, oh, this reminds me of Berkeley.
We've never even been there.
Yeah, we've never been there, but it's cool, I guess.
Isn't that weird?
Sounds like a compliment.
See vibes. I mean, my son even said it.
Yeah, as soon as he walked in, he's like, it feels like Berkeley.
Yeah.
It's funny.
That's weird.
It's good, I guess. It's a compliment, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. What do you mean? Listen, in Berkeley, we used to go over to the university on Saturday morning, and the guys would get out the conga drums and play the conga drums, and
nice.
And people would dance, in the African art, thing, and we'd be having
fun.
Ball.
Yeah.
And it wasn't all of this, because we finally broke loose of some of the crap that was going on. Finally, some of the stuff loosened up, and we were able to enjoy what we made possible.
Yeah, enjoy the fruits.
Yeah, of our labor. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
you.